Hello and welcome to Arnie's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Crooked Crown. Chapter 1: The Fall of a Queen. The lights dimmed, and a hush fell over the audience as the MC stepped forward, his voice booming through the packed auditorium. And the winner of this year's Miss Glamour pageant is Vanessa Sterling. Applause thundered, a wave of sound that crashed against the stage. Vanessa, resplendent in a gown that shimmered like liquid starlight, glided forward, her smile radiant. I stood in the wings, arms crossed, watching her with a mix of pride and something else, a nagging unease I couldn't shake. Years ago, I'd been in her shoes, strutting across pageant stages, chasing that glittering crown. Now, at 23, I was Detective Holly Arnold, and I was here for reasons I hadn't yet pieced together. Alicia Monroe, last year's winner, approached with the crown, a dazzling confection of crystals and pearls that caught the spotlight like a prism. She placed it gently on Vanessa's head, and the crowd roared again. Vanessa waved, tears glistening in her eyes. Then it happened. One step forward, and her smile faltered. A gasp escaped her lips. Her hand shot to her head, fingers brushing the crown, and her knees buckled. She crumpled to the stage, a marionette with severed strings. Screams pierced the air. Chaos erupted. I shoved through the crowd, my pulse hammering. "Move, detective, let me through." By the time I reached her, the medics were already there, their faces grim. Vanessa's eyes stared blankly at the ceiling, her skin pale and clammy. She was gone. Poison, I thought instantly. The how and why eluded me, but I'd seen enough death to recognize its signature. Chapter 2: The Crooked Clue. The police arrived minutes later, cordoning off the stage with yellow tape that clashed garishly with the sequins and satin. Detective Harris, a grizzled veteran who'd mentored me through my rookie days, nodded as I flashed my badge. "Arnold, what are you doing here, watching a friend win?" I said, my voice tighter than I intended. "Now I'm helping you catch her killer." He didn't argue. I pulled on gloves and knelt beside the crown, which had rolled a few feet from Vanessa's body. It was beautiful, almost too beautiful, but something caught my eye, a tiny, sharp protrusion on the inner band, barely noticeable unless you were looking for it. A faint sheen coated the tip. Poison. I bagged it and handed it to the forensic team, my mind already racing. Someone had turned that symbol of triumph into a weapon. First, I spoke to Alicia. She sat backstage, mascara streaking her cheeks, her hands trembling. "I didn't know, Holly, I swear. I just put the crown on her head like I was supposed to." "Who gave it to you?" I asked, keeping my tone steady. "Mr. Jenkins, the stage manager. He handed it to me right before I went out." Her voice cracked. "Do you think?" "I don't think anything yet," I lied. "Just tell me what you saw." She hadn't seen much, just Jenkins, flustered as always, passing her the crown. I made a note and moved on. Chapter 3: Suspects in the Spotlight. The pageant world was a snake pit of ambition and envy, and I knew it better than most. My own days of competing had taught me how smiles could hide daggers. I started with Brittany Hayes, the runner-up. She sat in the dressing room, reapplying lipstick with a calmness that bordered on airy. "Where were you when the crown was prepped?" I asked, leaning against the doorframe. "With my coach, practicing my speech," she said, meeting my gaze in the mirror. "Ask him. Ask anyone. Anyone confirm that. My coach, the other girls. I wasn't near the crown, if that's what you're implying." Her lips curled slightly. "Too confident?" "We're just rehearsed." Next was Marco Ruiz, the makeup artist. He was pacing outside, cigarette dangling from his fingers. "Vanessa trashed my work to the press last month," he admitted when I pressed him. "Said I made her look washed out, nearly tanked my career. But I didn't kill her." I raised an eyebrow. "There's a vial in your kit labeled solvent. What's it for?" "Removing makeup stains. Check it, it's harmless." His defensiveness was palpable, but his alibi held. He'd been touching up another contestant during the crucial window. Then there was Tyler Grayson, Vanessa's ex. Witnesses had seen him arguing with her backstage hours earlier, his voice raised, her face flushed with anger. "She dumped me last week," he spat when I cornered him. "Yeah, I was mad, but I left before the coronation. Asked the security guy I signed out. He was right." The log confirmed it. Tyler was a dead end. Finally, Mr. Jenkins. The stage manager fidgeted as I approached, his tie askew, sweat beading on his forehead. Busy night, huh? I said casually. Always is, he muttered, avoiding my eyes. You handed Alicia the crown. Did you notice anything odd about it? No, I grabbed it from the case and gave it to her. That's my job. His nerves screamed guilt, but I needed more than a hunch. Chapter 4. Polishing the Tiara of Lies. The lab called the next morning. The substance on the crown was a rare neurotoxin, absorbed through the skin, fast acting enough to kill within minutes. It had been applied recently, likely within an hour of the coronation. That narrowed the timeline. Someone backstage, someone with access, had done this. I reviewed the security footage. Most cameras focused on the stage, but one grainy feed caught the prep room. There, Mr. Jenkins alone, holding the crown. He glanced around, then dipped his hand into his pocket. When he pulled it out, the crown glinted differently. Subtle but damning. I tracked him down in his office, a cluttered space reeking of coffee and desperation. Jenkins, I said, closing the door. We need to talk. I told you everything. He snapped, but his hand shook. Did you? Because the footage says otherwise. You tampered with the crown. He froze. Then, in a panic, he lunged for a drawer, yanking out a vial identical to the one from Marco's kit, except this one wasn't solvent. Stay back, he yelled, brandishing it like a weapon. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed a pageant trophy from his desk, a gaudy thing shaped like a star, and held it. It struck his wrist, and the vial clattered to the floor. He stumbled, and I tackled him, pinning his arms. It's over, I panted, snapping cuffs around his wrists. Why'd you do it? He slumped, defeated. She found out I'd been skimming funds from the pageant, years of it. She was going to report me after her win. I couldn't let her ruin me, so you ruined her instead, I said, disgust curling my lip. Chapter 5. The Truth Shines Through. As Jenkins was hauled away, I stood outside the pageant hall, the night air cool against my skin. The lights that had once dazzled now seemed dim, shadowed by the ugliness I'd uncovered. Vanessa's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a mirror held up to a world obsessed with perfection, revealing the flaws beneath. I had polished the tiara of lies with my wit, exposing the killer lurking in plain sight. Justice was served, but the victory felt hollow. Rest easy, Vanessa, I murmured, glancing at the stars. The crown straight now. Epilogue. Back at the precinct, Harris clapped me on the shoulder. Good work, Arnold. You've got a knack for this, I smirked. Yes, I've earned my own crown, the kind that catches killers, not applause. It wasn't the glitziest title, but it fit me just fine. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had a great day.